Da everyone! Let's explore God's temple today. We are going to be examining, is your body God's temple? In his first epistle to the Corinthians, St. Paul made an interesting statement. He said that our bodies are the temple of God, which at that time was a physical structure built by Zerubabbel in 516 BC. Know ye not that ye are the temple of God, and that the Spirit of God dwelleth in you? If any man defile the temple of God, him shall God destroy. For the temple of God is holy, which temple ye are. 1 Corinthians chapter 3, verses 16 to 17. However, after those verses, he left us hanging. How can our bodies be a temple? What in the world does that entail? With clues found in the rest of the Bible, let's find out. The idea that St. Paul expressed is actually quite simple. God dwelled in the tabernacle built by the Israelites in the wilderness. As he said to Moses, "And let them make me a sanctuary, that I may dwell among them." Exodus chapter 25, verse 8. He also lived in Solomon's temple, according to this verse from 2 Chronicles. "For now have I chosen and sanctified this house, that my name may be there forever, and mine eyes and mine heart shall be there perpetually." 2 Chronicles chapter 7, verse 16. In 1 Kings chapter 8, verses 10 to 11, Yahweh actually came into this temple, symbolized by a cloud filling the structure. Therefore, God must also be able to dwell in us if we are to become his temple. Of course, when I say that God is dwelling in us, I'm really talking about his spirit. It's sort of like a tentacle that's attached to him. Speaking about Jesus, Paul said, "He is the one who holds the whole building together and makes it grow into a sacred temple dedicated to the Lord. In union with him, you too are being built together with all the others into a place where God lives through his Spirit." Ephesians chapter 2, verses 21 to 22, according to the Good News Bible. This tentacle, like any body part, isn't going to dip itself into a harmful substance, say idolatry, as shown in Exodus chapter 20, verses 3 to 5. Therefore, if we want God's Spirit to come to us, we need to cleanse those harmful substances out of our bodies. As it was said in 2 Corinthians, "And what concord hath Christ with Belial? Or what part hath he that believeth with an infidel? And what agreement hath the temple of God with idols? For ye are the temple of the living God. As God hath said, I will dwell in them, and walk in them, and I will be their God, and they shall be my people." 2 Corinthians chapter 6, verses 15 to 16. This means there are certain things that we should refrain from doing, since such actions would prevent God's presence from entering us. For example, we shouldn't commit fornication and adultery because they defile our bodies. Let's hear Apostle Paul on this matter. "Flee fornication. Every sin that a man doeth is without the body, but he that committeth fornication sinneth against his own body. What? Know ye not that your body is the temple of the Holy Ghost which is in you, which ye have of God, and ye are not your own?" 1 Corinthians chapter 6, verses 18 to 19. Defiled bodies couldn't enter the temple, as shown in 2 Chronicles chapter 26, verses 19 to 21. Of course, someone can't become God's temple just by avoiding certain sinful activities. Something more important than that is purity of heart, or one's conscience. After all, he's a spirit, according to John chapter 4, verse 24, so he's going to deal more with a person's heart than with their works. It is one's conscience that allows various vices to be eliminated, like the ones mentioned in Galatians chapter 5, verses 19 to 21. And it was Saul's lack of purity of heart that made God's Spirit leave him in 1 Samuel chapter 16, verse 14. If someone's conscience pricks them when they do bad things, then they aren't going to do bad things. If they don't feel bad when faced with sin, however, then they've already sinned, even if they haven't actually taken the action. As Jesus said, "Ye have heard that it was said by them of old time, Thou shalt not commit adultery. But I say unto you, that whosoever looketh on a woman to lust after her hath committed adultery with her already in his heart." Matthew chapter 5, verses 27 to 28. The only reason they won't commit the sin is because of the consequences they may face for doing so, not because they honor God. Equally as important as purity of heart, though, is righteous meditation. As it was said in Deuteronomy, "And these words which I command thee this day shall be in thine heart, and thou shalt teach them diligently unto thy children, and shalt talk of them when thou sittest in thine house, and when thou walkest by the way, and when thou liest down, and when thou risest up." Deuteronomy chapter 6, verses 6 to 7. It's the simplest way for God to dwell in us because He's literally in our minds all day. Plus, thinking about God purifies us, and purification is very important when it comes to the temple. As it was said in Psalms, "The words of the Lord are pure words, as silver tried in a furnace of earth, purified 7 times." Psalms chapter 12, verse 6. This constant state of reflection on God and His ways is what the always lighted menorah represented in the Holy of Holies, the most sacred part of the temple. It was a symbol of the fact that God was always present in Israel, which today is not a physical nation, but Christians around the world. As it was said in Romans, "For he is not a Jew, which is one outwardly, neither is that circumcision, which is outward in the flesh. But he is a Jew, which is one inwardly, and circumcision is that of the heart, in the spirit, and not in the letter, whose praise is not of men, but of God." Romans chapter 2, verses 28 to 29. The spiritual nature of this temple makes it so that unlike the physical structure in Jerusalem, this holy structure can never be destroyed, according to Psalm 79, verse 13. This means that once we transform our bodies into God's temple, they will remain so for all time. And that is where I'm going to stop with this Bible Q&A. Is your body God's temple? Well, if you cleanse harmful spiritual substances from your body, develop your conscience, and think about Jehovah, you're ready to become a holy altar. Thank you for listening. Don't forget to like and subscribe.